I was not unprepared for the anger of which I have been made the target, because I know its causes. I have now called an assembly for the purpose of reminding you of certain points, and of objecting against you being unreasonably irritated with me, or intimidated by your own sufferings. I am of the opinion that national greatness benefits private citizens more than any individual greatness in combination with public humiliation. A man may be ever so well off personally, yet if his country is ruined, he must be ruined with it, whereas a flourishing commonwealth always affords a chance of salvation to unfortunate individuals. Since a nation can support the burdens of its citizens, but individual citizens cannot carry the burdens of a failing nation, it is surely the duty of everyone to step forward in the nation's defense. You should not be so overwhelmed by your personal afflictions as to give up all thoughts of the common safety, and to blame me for having counseled war, or blame yourselves for having voted for it. And yet, if you are angry with me, you are angry with someone who, I believe, is second to no man either in knowledge or in proper policy, or in the ability to explain it, and who is, moreover, not only a patriot, but an honest one. A man possessing the right knowledge without the ability to explain it might as well have no idea on the matter at all, even if he had both these gifts, but no love for his country. He would only be a cold advocate for its interests, while if his patriotism could be bought with bribes, everything would go for a price. So if you thought that I possessed these qualities, even to a moderate degree, when you took my advice and went to war, there is currently no reason now why I should be accused of having done wrong. Of course, for those who have a free choice in the matter, and whose fortunes are not at stake, war is indeed the greatest of follies. But if the only choice was between submission with loss of independence and danger with the hope of preserving it, then it is the one who refuses to accept the risk who deserves the blame, not the one who faces it. I am the same man, and do not change. It is you who change. The truth is, you took my advice when you were unhurt, only to regret it when misfortune arrived. The apparent failure of my policy lies only in the wavering of your resolution, since the suffering it brings is being felt by everyone among you, while its advantages are still distant and obscure. And now that a great and sudden setback has befallen you, your minds are too broken to hold fast to your original resolve. When encountering what is sudden, unexpected, and completely outside of calculation, the spirit quails, and putting all else aside, the plague has certainly been an emergency of this kind. Yet born, as you are, citizens of a great state, and brought up, as you have been, with traditions equal to your birth, you should be ready to face the greatest disasters and still keep the shining brilliance of your name unimpaired. For the judgment of mankind is just as relentless towards the weakness that falls short of a recognized reputation, as it is jealous of the arrogance that aspires higher than its due. Cease then to grieve for your private afflictions, and address yourselves instead to the safety of the Commonwealth. If you shrink before the efforts which the war makes necessary, and fear that after all they may not lead to a happy outcome, you already know the reasons by which I have often demonstrated to you the groundlessness of your hesitations. But if those reasons are not enough, I will now reveal an advantage arising from the greatness of your empire, one which I think you have never yet considered, which I never mentioned in my previous speeches, and which sounds so bold that I would scarcely venture it now, were it not for the unnatural despair that I now see around me. You perhaps think that your empire extends only over your allies, but I will declare to you the truth. The visible field of action is divided in two parts, land and sea. In the whole of one of these, namely the sea, you are completely supreme, not merely as far as you use it now, but also for whatever further extent you may use it for in the future. In fact, your navy is so powerful that your vessels may go wherever they please, and no king or nation on earth can stop them. So, although you may think it a great hardship to lose your land and houses, you must see that this naval power of yours is something widely different. Instead of worrying about your property, you should only view your houses and fields as small gardens or decorations that go along with great wealth, and in comparison to naval power, are of little importance. You must understand that liberty preserved by your efforts will easily recover what we have lost, but if you bend the knee, even what you still have will be taken from you. Your fathers did not receive these possessions from others, but from their own efforts. They did not let that which their labor had acquired slip away, but delivered them safe to you. In this respect, at least, you must prove yourselves their equals, remembering that to lose what one already has is more disgraceful than to fail in getting it. Therefore, you must confront your enemies not merely with spirit, but with disdain. Confidence, indeed, a blissful ignorance can inspire, even to a coward's heart. But disdain is a privilege reserved for those who, like us, have been assured by reason that they are superior to their enemy. And when the chances of war are equal, this knowledge fortifies courage through the contempt it creates. Its trust is placed not in blind hope, which is merely the crutch of the desperate, but in a judgment grounded in actual resources, whose calculations are far more to be depended upon. Besides, to recede is no longer possible, even if some of you, in the fear of the moment, fancied the idea of playing the honest, peaceful citizen. To speak plainly, the empire you now hold is a tyranny. Taking it may have been wrong, but letting it go is purely dangerous. If men with these peaceful, passive views convince others, they would quickly ruin a nation. Indeed, the result would be the same if they lived isolated by themselves. For the passive and unambitious are never secure without vigorous protectors at their side. In short, such qualities are useless to an imperial city, though they may help a subject city to enjoy a quiet servitude. Therefore, hear me when I say you must not be seduced by citizens like these, or be angry with me, who, when I voted for war, only did what you did yourselves. The enemy invaded your country and did exactly what you knew they would do when you refused to comply with their demands. And on top of everything we expected, the plague has come upon us, the only point, indeed, where our calculations failed. It is this, I know, that is largely responsible for making me unpopular, quite undeservedly, unless you are also prepared to give me credit for any unexpected success that chance may bring you. Besides, the hand of heaven must be borne with resignation, but that of the enemy with fortitude. This was always the old way in Athens, so do not prevent it from being so still. Remember, too, that if your country has the greatest name in the world, it is because it never bent before disaster. because it has expended more life and effort in war than any other city, and has won for itself a power greater than any hitherto known, the memory of which will descend to the last generation, even if now, in obedience to the general state of decay, we should ever be forced to yield. We will still be remembered that we held rule over more Greeks than any other Greek state, and that we sustained the greatest wars against Greece's united and separate powers, and inhabited a city unrivaled by any other in resources or magnitude. These glories may be criticized by the slow and unambitious, but in the hearts of the energetic they will awaken emulation, and in those who lack them, an envious regret. Everyone who rules others will eventually be hated and unpopular, but a wise leader accepts that hatred, knowing it is the price of achieving great things. Hate fades quickly, but the brilliance of what we build today and our glory tomorrow will never be forgotten. Make your decision, therefore, for future glory then, and honor now, and attain both through instant and zealous effort. Do not send heralds to Sparta, and do not show any signs of being broken by your current sufferings, since they whose minds are least sensitive to calamity, and whose hands are quickest to face it, are the greatest citizens and the greatest nations.